Hello guys and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a deck that I call Kaya's WinCon. It is a control deck. So we hop in here. We've got 3 Fountains of Renewals. Fountains of Renewals are just pretty much an auto-include in the type of control decks that I play for the current meta, especially seeing as how I'm just starting out the season at the bottom of the ladder. It's going to be a lot of aggro decks, a lot of different forms of aggro decks as well. Dawn of Hope is a WinCon. It also allows us to draw cards. It's a pretty good draw engine. Revitalize, because as I said before, there's a lot of aggressive decks in the meta right now. We also need ways to filter through our deck to get to the proper spells, as with any control deck. Cast Down, because of aggressive decks. Gaia's Blessing is another WinCon. It also allows us to recycle back things such as Vraska's Contempt or another Kaya's Wrath. We can also bring a WinCon back if it's been removed, etc. Treasure Maps, another draw engine. We don't have a lot of draw in this deck, so we need to run 4 copies. Also, kind of the same thing as Revitalize. We really need to be using that scry to filter through our deck. Cry of the Carnarium is kind of a slot that can be switched out with something else. I run 2 of them currently because I'm at the bottom of the ladder. When I start getting higher up the ladder, I may not be running 2 anymore. Kaya Orzhov Usurper, kind of a spicy addition. It is a WinCon. It is not seen as a main deck in a lot of decks. It's usually a sideboard in a few decks, but it works as a WinCon, and the reason I like it as a WinCon, obviously it's very slow. The reason I like it as a WinCon though, is because it's not a huge mana investment if something goes wrong. So if they Vraska it, or if they remove it some way, or they say they, it's like, okay, I probably still got value out of it. I either gained 2 life, or I removed a 1-cost card or a token. That's why I like running it, rather than investing in something heavy that I have to take a whole turn to play. So like with Kaya, if I'm on turn, if I've got 7 or 8 mana out, and I drop a Kaya down, I still have land open to react to what they do on their turn. That is why I like Kaya. Mortify, because there is a lot of enchantments running around right now. Ixalan's Binding. I don't like running more than 1 copy of Ixalan's Binding currently. The reason is because there seems to be a lot of enchantment removal in the meta right now. So running more than 1 copies of these is very detrimental. This is pretty much in here only to counteract our opponent's Ixalan's Binding. We need one because opponent's Ixalan's Binding can shut us down pretty good, so we need something to answer that. Mortify is just a safer bet, that's why we run 3 of those and just 1 Ixalan's. Settle, self-explanatory. Ill-gotten Inheritance is another win condition. It's simple, but it's effective. Vraska's Contempt is self-explanatory, Kaya's Wrath is self-explanatory, and Cleansing Nova is self-explanatory. And then a splash of the lands that we need to make this work. So we're going to hop into Ranked with this one. Play a game and see how it goes. We probably won't be able to get 3 games done because this deck is a little bit slower. So hopefully I can at least get through 1 in a decent amount of time. So you guys don't have to sit through it. This hand's not bad. We'll keep it. So on second turn, if he's aggro, we're going to be playing Revitalize. If it's not aggro, we'll be playing a Treasure Map. It's a pretty straightforward play out of those 2 cards. It looks like he's Discord. He's Dimir, so being Dimir, we will be playing the Treasure Map if he doesn't remove it from our hand right away. Well, either way, he can only remove 1. Evidently, he did not like his hand. Interesting. Well, it looks like we will have time for another one. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he got land screwed or land flooded. Who knows? You really like to have a treasure map in your starting hand, but we can't rely on it. If it's an aggressive deck, we can stall this game for a little while, but we have a good starting hand in land. I think that we can't be greedy and we need to keep this. I almost want a mulligan, but it's a little bit greedy too. Okay, mono blue. This hand is a little slow for mono blue. So life gain does not concern us. Put a stop on our next turn just in case we decide to use the treasure map. Depending on what he plays, if he leaves an empty board, I think we have one more turn, so I'm going to go ahead and use the map. Kaya's decent in this matchup. We just don't want it yet. So we have two options next turn. We be greedy and treasure map, or we hope for luck to draw land for Kaya's Wrath. Land it was. He's probably going to counter it. Probably Squench and Spell Pierces are the two counter spells I would imagine he's running. Maybe Negates. He forgot to attack. Yeah, oops is right, bud. Well, we gotta keep getting rid of his counter spells. I feel like Dawn of Hope's the correct play. When you play against decks that are running counter spells, I know it can be frustrating. What you have to remember is you just have to play. You have to run the counter spells out of their hand. So you just have to play. You just have to play your cards. Obviously, keep the things in hand that you really can't afford to have countered at all. He doesn't have a lot of damage on board right now, and he's out of cards. He will be able to adapt this guy, I think. Yeah, he will. So and he's going to counter the Vraskas or whatever I play with the Siren Stormtamer next turn. So we need a board removal, very badly. Settle will not work because of the Stormtamer, unfortunately. It is unfortunate. We'll have the tokens, the treasure tokens, so it's safe to scry again. Cleansing is just what we needed. Alright, we live to play another turn. So at this point with card advantage, we should win this game. Anything can happen, but we need to make sure we say removal for key pieces of his deck. We're not in a hurry to kill that. It's almost, even if he has a counterspell and he used it to stop that from dying, it would be worth burning the counterspell, so. Well, let's hope we don't get land flooded, guys. I may have to sack the Fountain here soon. And another land. Okay, so he's probably holding on to a couple counter spells. It's unfortunate that we drew those lands when we did and that we couldn't draw into something we could have played before he drew into his counter spells. Well, let's get rid of one of them. Oh, he let it go through. Okay. Cry is not a bad card against this deck. Sure. We're safe on life total right now. I'm not going to use anything in that. Blue is not known for having a bunch of burst. So that's actually a decent draw. It allows us to stall more. That's what we were waiting for. So we'll play the Mortify first just in case he has a counterspell. I'm going to say that that's no counterspell. At some point here soon, we're going to sack one of the Fountains. I think probably right now. Let's leave it a little longer. We're drawing into a lot of lands. Another land. And another land. Well, guys, this is the land flood of this decade. And another land. It's unfortunate. This game would be much closer to being over if we hadn't drawn the lands that we have. We have drawn a lot of lands. We're giving this guy way too much opportunity to draw into counter spells and things. Sure. Well. Yeah. Another land. Oh my goodness. Well, sorry you guys are having to sit through this. The good news is there is only 9 lands left in the deck. Well, it didn't get countered. That's promising. Another land. We don't want that. Alright, his wrath is fine. Let's get rid of a counter spell if he has one. He does not. Okay. Little scry at the beginning of our turn. It's the slow play, but Kaya's is safe to keep, so. Alright. Ill-gotten inheritance we really want to stick. Hopefully we can get lucky. We did. Okay. No attack from our opponent. Is that a sign of giving up? Or what? So if we can draw into the Kaya Planeswalker right now, that would be probably the best draw in our deck currently to speed this game up. And I know I'm playing something that's slower and maybe not as fun to watch, but I wanted to play something different than an aggro deck for this video, regardless if it gets any views or not. I'm not too concerned about it, mostly. So let's go ahead and make him sacrifice the Storm Tamer. We're going to have to do it at some point. The good news is there's only 5 lands left in the deck now, guys. Or 4 lands left in the deck. There are 4 lands left in our 25 cards. Well, that is one land-loaded top end of a deck. I'm actually semi-impressed that we've survived this long against mono blue with being as flooded as we have been. Well, there's one of the 4, guys. He's counting my lands. like what is going on? Or one of the, yeah, so there's 4 left in the deck. I think we have 20 out, right? Oh, we can't count these 2. Maybe there's 6 left. I can't do math, evidently. Yeah, at this point we're playing it on our main phase. Is he thinking about countering by Revitalize? That would seem like an interesting... Oh, another land. Right. So he probably has a counter spell in hand now. He kind of telegraphed that with the way it stalled on his turn. Luckily, we have enough mana to play like 5 or 6 spells in the same turn, so... Alright, he's going to counter that one. I don't know if I want to play this yet. He is going to counter it. I don't know if we need to yet. It would force a counter out of his hand. Yeah, let's just get the counter out of his hand. I need to play with my own rules. You have to get rid of their counters. You can't just sit there and do nothing. Sure. It's the beauty of Kaya's blessing, guys. Is when he removes things like that, we can bring them back. What's most likely going to happen is eventually he's going to load up his board with like 3 or 4 counter spells in hand and try to have like a big swing turn. So we're going to have to stack up a bunch of removal to keep baiting out all his counter spells. There's one card for him to counter. He's thinking really hard about whether he wants to counter that. There you go.
I can get rid of anything, living or dead. Sorry, what's that do to you?
He's debating on Vraska seeing his Diamond Mare while he had no mana open for more than one counter spell. Done. Yeah. So we have 2 shots at this. And all we needed was the 1. At this point, we're safe to sack the Fountain, so we're going to do that. We want to do 1 spell and 1 creature each time. That way we maximize our life gain from the removal. At least against this specific deck. Put a stop so that we can treasure map twice if we need to. We probably want to be careful drawing any more cards. I have a feeling he's saving counters for Kaya's Blessing.
But you can't hit me again. What's that do to you? be hit.
So, Kaya's Wrath number 1. Then Kaya's Wrath number 2. And we'll probably draw a concede out of our opponent after this turn, if I had to take a guess.
You're not welcome here. Funny, that's what I do.
So we're safe to draw cards now. One card in his hand, he can't counter everything. We're really hoping, so we can Ixalan's this. If he doesn't counter the Ixalan's, we should win this game. There you have it, guys. That is using Kaya as a win con. Just takes a long time to play these matches. But I hope you enjoyed it. If not, let me know. I get it. I really do. They are long matches. As always, I hope everyone has a good day and enjoy life.